Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. Well, today we're going to talk about the rumored PlayStation 5 Pro and whether or not Xbox is going to have an answer to this supposed console. Now, I've been hearing about this for quite some time. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I've known about this for quite some time. I've been saying it, and people have been saying, no, it's not true. But I found out about this leak, I would say, about a year ago. So this is nothing new to me. I knew that this was coming. I just didn't know when it was coming. And when we look at all of the games that have been released this generation, a lot of people are upset because they're not really fully utilizing all of the features of these next generation systems. Yes, we have some games on the PlayStation that do utilize the SSD, and we have a few games on the Xbox that use VRS, but we haven't got any games that use the velocity architecture, at least to my knowledge. If there's a game that used it, please let me know in the comment section down below. As far as I can see, both of these next generation systems are not fully utilizing the tech that's inside of them. So I can understand some people being skeptical about a mid-generation refresh. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, the games that have been coming out, I would say like the true next generation games or games that are really pushing high visual fidelity are running at 30 FPS. Now, Starfield is coming out on the Xbox Series X. That's going to run at 30 FPS. Unfortunately, you're going to have to get a PC to run that game at 60 FPS. Some people would still question if a mid-gen refresh is needed. I think at the minimum, these games should all run at 60 FPS. I've always had this stance and I'm gonna stand by it. I know some of you guys out there don't care if games run at 30 FPS, but if you had the choice between 60 and 30 FPS, especially after playing it, you're always going to choose the 60 FPS experience. It's just a smoother experience. The visuals look better because you're not getting any type of blurring, you're not getting a lot of motion blur, and even if you do get motion blur, you're getting a lot more frames, so it's just a lot more fluid. The controls feel a lot better because your response time is cut down. It's just a better experience. This is not something that's subjective. This is something that is factual, that actually affects the way the game looks and plays in your hands. And I understand that consoles, of course, they have to be affordable, so you're not going to have the highest tech in these consoles. And when they came out, they were pretty powerful, and I still think these consoles are powerful. But some of these engines that we're seeing now are CPU heavy. Even on PC, you're getting some games that aren't performing at 60 FPS or are just barely reaching it, depending on the hardware that you have. So a lot of engines are shifting over to the CPU, and this is where these consoles fall a little bit short. Now, both of them have, I would say, around a 3700X Ryzen CPU inside of them. We are now at the 7000 series that are substantially better. They have higher cache, they have higher clocks, they're just a lot more efficient, they're faster, they're better CPUs. And some of these games are starting to utilize the power in both Intel and I should say AMD CPUs. Yes, they're 8-core 16-thread CPUs, but at the end of the day, they're just not as good as what we have in the market today. And like I said, consoles, they are an affordable choice, but this is where my argument comes in. I do believe that we need a next generation refresh so these games can run at 60 FPS. Now today we're going to look at the pushsquare.com article like usual. I'll leave a link in the description down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. Now, they go on to say that Sony will reportedly release an upgraded PlayStation 5 Pro hardware model in November 2024, according to a report from Tom Henderson, who successfully leaked the PlayStation hardware plans in the past. The Inside Gaming scribe, this time writing for Key to Gaming, accurately outed Japanese giant remote play streaming handheld Project Q prior to its official unveiling and has inside information on a variety of other projects, including the line of InZone headphones. So this guy let us see the Project Q handheld device beforehand. He had information about it, and I did see leaks of this. I even used the thumbnails in some of my videos, and to be honest with you, it turned out to be exactly as it was pictured in the leaks. So we have to give some credibility to this guy here. And like I said, I've heard about this for over a year. Now, a reason why I didn't report on it is because I didn't hear of plans of Xbox actually having an answer to this. I've asked around from whatever contacts that I have, whatever people I know, and it doesn't appear that Microsoft is working on this at the current time. And that's pretty crazy. If the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out next year and Microsoft doesn't have an answer to this, it's not going to be a good look for the Xbox Series X. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not a huge fan of the Series S. It's a good console, I know it's affordable, and it helps people get into the Xbox ecosystem, but it's still kind of a little lackluster in certain departments. And Microsoft pretty much wants to support this console because the Series S is their highest selling console. So if they were to bring out a mid-generation refresh, that would really muck things up, and I think they'd have to cut support for the Series S, or the Series S just wouldn't get certain games. I don't know if Microsoft is prepared to do that. I don't know all their plans. This is just me kind of guessing what would happen if Microsoft released a mid-generation refresh to the Xbox Series X. I just gotta believe that the Xbox Series S would either hold it back or it would suffer with not getting some of these games. If we go over to keytogaming.com, like usual, I'll leave it in the description down below as well. They say it's been a month since Xbox chief Phil Spencer revealed in an interview that Microsoft does not have plans for a mid-generation refresh for the Xbox Series X and S. According to Spencer, Xbox hasn't received the feedback that would warrant such a refresh with two SKUs already on the market from the Xbox side. The feedback isn't all surprisingly. In fact, according to Digital Foundry, the company has said during the Xbox Series X reveal that the Series X is already the generation Xbox Pro offering, and the company decided to launch it ahead of time. So that's pretty crazy. The Xbox Series X is the mid-generation refresh, that the Series S was supposed to be the main console. Imagine that the Series S was the main console coming out against the PlayStation 5. That is just unfathomable. I don't know what to say about this report. But apparently this is what Phil Spencer said, that this is the mid-generation refresh. Now, keytogaming.com also says, according to their own sources, who asked to remain anonymous because they were unauthorized to speak on such details, a PlayStation 5 Pro is in development and its code name is Trinity. It's understood that Trinity has been in development since early 2022, with sources citing that although the rumors of a canceled PlayStation 5 Pro project were always fun to read, Trinity has been the only project in the works for the Pro model despite dates being tentative. It's understood that demo events for the PlayStation 5 Pro are already ongoing, and with a majority of studios receiving development kits late November 2023. Now, we heard that the developers received PlayStation 5 Pro kits. There were many reports about this, and a lot of people just kind of ignored it as a rumor, but this was reported by developers that they received dev kits for the PlayStation 5 Pro. As for the console's performance targets, it's expected that the PlayStation 5 Pro will be targeting improved consistent FPS at 4K resolution, a new performance mode at 8K resolution, and accelerated ray tracing. Now, Sony really wants to deliver 4K 60 FPS. That's their goal, and they want to improve ray tracing as well. Now, I don't know about this 8K resolution because who really has an 8K TV? Now, I do believe if they do improve the specs, you could probably get 8K 30 FPS. I don't think anybody really cares about that. That's just a marketing thing. We know Sony's done this before with the PlayStation 5. On the box, it says 8K support. And what games are supporting 8K? And once again, who has an 8K TV? There's not many people out there with that type of hardware. So it would be foolish to concentrate your efforts on 8K resolution because that's not even going to be a thing for at least another 5 to 6 years. I think that Microsoft should have taken a different approach. And I've always said this, and I know some Xbox fans are going to get down on me, but you know me, I just got to tell you the way it is. I think that Xbox should have released a discless Xbox Series X instead of the Series S. Now, I don't want to just rain on the Series S parade because it does do a lot of things great. It does play a lot of the games, and they're making sure that the games run on the Series S and the Series X. But I gotta be honest with you, I do believe in some ways it does hamper some of the games on the Series X. I think that the Series S, perhaps some games, it just shouldn't get support for it or get some features cut out of it. I don't think it should be a straight parity with the Series X. Now, don't get me wrong, the Series S is capable of doing 60 FPS. I think it's a great 1080p machine. But I just think that they should concentrate more on the Series X. And if this PlayStation 5 Pro rumor is true, and we're just going to call it a rumor at this time because until it's officially announced from Sony, we're going to have to treat it as such. But I'm telling you guys personally that I do believe that this is true. I've heard about this for a long time. These are reputable sources that have given us information before. You guys have heard the rumors, the rumblings yourself. So you know that this is true. And the reason why Sony is doing this is because they want to be able to have 4K 60 FPS without compromises. They want to be able to do ray tracing at 60 FPS. So maybe we're going to have 1440p reconstructed at 60 FPS ray tracing capabilities on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, Phil Spencer is saying that they're not working on one. Things can change, plans can change. If they get a wind of this and know the reality of this becoming a thing, then maybe they'll get behind it. But usually I know these type of consoles, they take years of development, years of R&D, lots of testing. So it's not something that Microsoft could just say, yeah, we want to do this right away, so let's get on this so we can have one next November. No, if Microsoft were to do that, the earliest that console would come out is 2025. And I do believe that we are going to get a mid-generation refresh 2024, 2025. I've said this for a long time. So it would make sense that Microsoft wait on Sony, see what they release, and then release something better. Also, Microsoft at the same time, they're not going to tell you that they're working on a next generation console. Either is Sony. They're just going to let you know maybe a little bit in advance, like 3-4 months in advance, because they don't want sales to go down for the current consoles. If people know that a next generation console is coming out, they're not going to buy the PlayStation 5. They're not going to buy the Series X. They're going to wait, and that's going to hurt sales. We're also hearing that there's going to be a PlayStation 5 Slim coming out that doesn't have a disk drive, that it's an option. You can buy the PlayStation 5 disk drive separately and add it to the console. So that'll probably phase out the current PlayStation 5 models in the market so they can have a price reduction, and you're going to see a price reduction on the old PlayStation 5s, I believe. It's going to be a very interesting holiday season for the PlayStation 5 because this Slim model is rumored to come out this year. Now, in closing, I'm going to say I believe this to be true. I know some guys are not going to want to hear this, but the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming, and I do believe it's going to come sometime in 2024. I believe Microsoft will have an answer for this. If we're going to go on Phil Spencer's word that they're not in development right now, they don't see any feedback for them to develop a mid-generation refresh, then them hearing this news is probably going to kickstart that. And I would expect them to answer the following year in 2025, which would make that system more powerful, more refined than the PlayStation 5 Pro, because they'll be able to know what that system is capable at that time and make a counter system that has more power. But as far as an Xbox Series X mid-generation refresh coming out in 2024, I would say the chance to that is slim to none. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. What are your thoughts on the PlayStation 5 Slim? Do you think this is a good move from Sony? Are you interested in a discless version of the PlayStation 5 that will give you the option to upgrade it down the road? What are your thoughts on the PlayStation 5 Pro? Do you think it's needed? Are you okay with 30 FPS games, or would you like a more powerful console that can deliver 60 FPS? I also want to know what you think about the Xbox Series X mid-generation refresh. Do you think that Microsoft are working on this console now? Do you think they'll answer at a later date to the PlayStation 5 Pro? Please let me know all of these things in the comment section down below. And like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one.